Who taught you, please, who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? So much so that you don't want to be around each other. No, before you come asking Mr. Muhammad, does he teach hate? You should ask yourself, who taught you to hate being what God gave you?
Welcome to another episode of You Left Shit Out. I finally remembered to start the episode off with those clips, and there you have it, the Malcolm X clip. So today we're going to be talking about $270 million, essentially, that the left movement has contributed to progressive Democrats. 270 million. We're going to discuss that amount, who got the amount, how does it break down. We're going to discuss what did we get for 270 million? What are possibilities for 270 million spent in a different way? So we're going to tackle all of those topics and those questions today. And any other, I'm just going to scan any other breaking stories just in case something breaks while I'm midstream. So if anything comes up, I will talk about that also. But before we get started, make sure you like and subscribe. As we say for almost every stream, YouTube is not helping us. So literally all of our traffic is because of the people who watch our episodes. That's it. You're telling people, you're telling your friends and family, you're sharing. So we're just asking to please keep doing that so our content can be heard. Subscribe. We're trying to reach 15,000 subscribers by April 1st, which is our 1-year anniversary. Believe it or not, we haven't been here for 1 year yet. So 1 year is just a few weeks away, maybe 6 or 7 weeks away. And we want to hit 15,000 by then. So please, if you're able to share this channel, please do. So now let's get into a topic. Now, I do want to put, I guess, the overlay back on the screen here, because I kind of just want to go through each person left to right. So Pramila Jayapal, I mean, she was sold as a progressive. I mean, unapologetically a progressive. Same with Ilhan Omar. Now, Ayanna Pressley, I rarely even mention her by name because she was just kind of squeezed in there. She's not really, to me, part of the squad. It doesn't seem like. So, it is what it is. And then AOC is the ringleader, of course. Cori Bush and Jamal Bowman are new additions, but Jamal Bowman sold out, I mean, as quick as anybody I've ever seen. And if you watch some of my other streams, you know that Cori Bush has some issues with the Democratic establishment, silencing her, threatening her. So that's the story I've heard around Cori Bush. Now, let's talk about that amount that's there. And let me take this off the screen now. Or actually, I could just do this. Let's do this here. There we go. All right, so let's take this overlay, and then I'll use the same picture again as just a regular image. So if I want to go back to that. So let's get into the amount. So today, I was, every day I look to try to find out what do I want? What do I want to talk about? And what does people want to hear me talk about? They're not the same thing. So today I wanted to talk about what I wanted to talk about and not necessarily what people are wanting to hear about. So, well, maybe you are wanting to hear about this also, but I'm just saying not necessarily. So let's get to this tweet. I'm gonna share my screen if I can find it. I got a bunch of DMers that are new that I have to go through. So let's go to whose tweet, because there's a couple of tweets. Let's go to this one. Let me share my screen now. We'll talk about this first one. Share. So this is the breakdown here. Okay. And it's taken from this Substack, 270 million wasted to elect useless progressives. That's from this Substack from Unapologetic, who's a friend of the show, friend of the network. He was on the general strike. He was a participant on the general strike. Let me make sure I'm not silent here. I'm now so paranoid that I'm muted because I do it all the time. So this is the breakdown. Justice Democrats, $62 million. I mean, just think of what they've done lately in the last several years. Let me make this bigger. Just think of what they've done in the last several years to disappoint you. And shout out to Baba Yaga. Sometimes you're in the comments. So if you're here today, let me know. Whirlwind Wisdom, follow. Justice Democrats, $62 million. What could you do with $62 million? What could we do with $62 million? How many people are being evicted? Could $62 million contribute to those people remaining housed? I was just down at Skid Row with Rome doing work for the poor this past weekend. You know what $62 million could do for all those people, the hundreds, if not thousands of people down on Skid Row? More than enough. How much of that could wipe out homelessness? I forget the figure where the amount to wipe out homelessness in the United States. Let me see if somebody has that figure in the comments. But how much could $62 million go towards that amount? Right? Let me see if anybody has that amount handy. Not yet. So $62 million to Democrats. Now, 211 million, the bulk, the vast majority, 211 million went to the Bernie Sanders campaign. That's what we're capable of. We're capable of raising $211 million from working people. And one of my biggest critiques of Bernie Sanders is that how he left the movement. A movement was created out of your campaign, and you just left us high and dry. It could have been, hey, I'm backing out, but this is how we're going to move forward as a movement. I want to elect Joe Biden. I disagree, but this is what he would say. I want to elect Joe Biden because I think, Donald Trump is terrible or could, threaten our democracy. I don't believe that. This is what Bernie Sanders would say. So let's elect Joe Biden, and then let's put pressure on Joe Biden. He could have activated his movement. Joe Biden is now elected. Let's go ahead and push for $15 minimum wage. Everybody, call. Here's my email list. Everybody on Thursday, so-and-so date, and call the White House. Call your local person. Here is the number to your local person, to each state, to whatever. All these things could have done. That is a better way for him to use his power than the position he wanted, which is the position he has now, which is the budget chairman or whatever he's over, right? What about, there's several things that he could have done. He could have said, hey, I'm running for the Green Party, and that would have just blew the Green Party up and made the Green Party better. And I briefly talked about that on the call-in show with Brianna Joy Gray. But we're capable of $211 million. And like I said, my biggest critique of Bernie Sanders is him dropping out and not doing anything else. You know how we always leftists always say, well, what's next? Like we're asking that of the truckers. Yeah, you want mandates lifted, but what's next? Right? What was the but next for Bernie Sanders? He literally left us high and dry. When, like I said, he could have done the thing he wanted to do and kept the movement. Hey, I know all of you, I'm about to go back on my word and push for Joe Biden and say that go ahead and elect him. I'm going to go ahead and push and push and push. Get him in office. Now, team, it's time to go to work. $15 minimum wage. Let's make that 19. Put pressure on your congressperson. Call them. Here's their number. Organize. Here's a march for fight for 18 or whatever it is. Fight for $18 an hour. Here's the date. National March. Decrease in military budget. Call your congressperson. Here's their number. Let's do a march. Show up in DC. So many things he could have done while still sheepdogging, or not even sheepdogging, but I guess that is, but voting for Joe Biden and telling people to vote for Joe Biden. He still could have kept the movement. You have somebody who's friendly to you in office and you put pressure on them. Why aren't you doing that? Through the movement. Where is the money, by the way? Where's the money? How many could use that money that's being evicted? How many could use that money during this time of inflation? All thrown away to some people who are going to sheepdog for the Democrats and Joe Biden. Say what you want. It's thrown away. You can try to, oh, no, you didn't get nothing out of it. Thrown away. You see what they're doing in there? Anyway, let's move forward. AOC, $22.7 million. AOC and Bernie Sanders right now can get the ball rolling on a general strike, just them two. Not run a general strike, because that's what people like to jump on. I didn't say they can get it going. They can definitely get the spark going. Hey, I know this is Bernie Sanders talking. Hey, I have 40 union bosses in my Rolodex. Let's hit them up. Let's get this conversation going. Now, at this general strike, this is Bernie Sanders. Now, this is our fallback plan. We're planning this general strike, if Joe Biden fails on these matters. Point this. That's what Bernie Sanders and AOC can do right now outside of their legislative role. As personal citizens and the people they have a ear to, the people that follow them, that can happen right now. Ro Khanna, I mean, he's not a progressive, he's not a leftist, but Ro Khanna, 15.3 million. Pramila Jayapal, 7.8 million. Ilhan Omar, 6.8 million. Did we give her 7.8 million, Pramila Jayapal, to give Joe Biden an A? To say he's doing a great job? To say I'm going to trust in Joe Biden and Joe Manchin that they're going to vote on the next bill? Did you give her that money for that? How many people in your area can use this money? Tour, you know how many people the Tour for the Poor can affect? Rome's Tour for the Poor. You know how much my mutual aid, which now I'm going to let everybody know during this stream, has been updated to Skid Row. That last trip to Skid Row actually got me to adjust my mutual aid, but that's another story. I'm going to get to it in just a second. Rashida Tlaib, $5.6 million. Cori Bush, $1.4 million. Jamal Bowman, I mean, that's the great. He changed up the quickest right there. 2.8 million. Was this really the best use of our limited resources? Absolutely not. Let me make this back down to the regular image, and then I'm gonna take this off here. So that's the amount. And I'm going to click on this article so I can have this up here, because I am going to reference it a couple of times throughout here. So make sure you go check out this Substack. Let me make sure it's visible here. Article: 270 million wasted to elect useless progressives. Fund the movement, not politicians. Fund the movement, not politicians. We could have imagine $270 million in a general strike fund. So those that want to get on a general strike now, that's how we can do it right away. If we are able to fundraise like that, $270 million. The general strike would be tomorrow if we had that, because people would have the security that, hey, I can go on general strike. I can participate in this general strike and not have to worry about feeding my kids, not have to worry about paying my bills, because we have a $270 million general strike fund, which would be larger if we know that it's for a general strike fund. This is people just saying, hey, this person who I think has my ideas, great ideas, but unlikely to get in, but I'm going to try. I'm going to give him some money. Change that to, I'm donating money to sustain a general strike so that we can cripple this system. That $27 becomes $33. That $5 becomes $8. Yes, he does. He absolutely does. I'm sure I'm missing something here. Creative experiments. AOC needs to find offshore accounts to hide the money better. So she got found hiding money. I mean, maybe this is an old story or a new story. I'm not sure. Let me see. Let's see here. In order for nonviolence to work, your opponent must have a conscience. The United States has no conscience. That is Kwame. I like his own name, Stokely Carmichael. But yes, that is Kwame Tome. Quote. Let's see here. No. I wish we had a general strike fund, but I think there is a couple of general strike funds. I think we put one out in a couple of roundtable. But what I was saying is, I'm not saying we have one now, or like I do, or RBN. I'm just simply saying, imagine if we are able to put together a general strike fund, but people were donated it in that way that they're donating to these candidates. Like, you're gonna have real return if the money is kept amongst us, it's kept in the community. Like, real return, meaning you're donating. What are you getting in it when you need help for a build? That's the return. You know what else is the return? Making sure your neighbor has food. That's a return for you. Also, making sure your neighbor is able to pay all their bills. Your parents, your mom, your cousin, your brother. That's the return. We're not getting any return now. They owe us money for what they're doing. They should be providing refunds for us for what they're actually doing. I did that. Okay, let's get some other comments here on board. Thank you. Keep the comments coming. Let's click this one. Oh. Electoral politics is theater. Elections are rigged. I absolutely believe that, but I wouldn't go as far as to say do not vote. I say take votes away from the duopoly, participate in voting for a third party. Voting for a third party is not the point of voting for a third party is not that they're going to win. So like remove that out of your thinking. That is not the point of voting for a third party. So when people, oh, there's no viable person, that's not the point. The point is to take votes, to take bodies away from the duopoly. Let's see what Gary has to say. If you believe the squad will or can accomplish anything, you might be a neoliberal. I concur with that. Let's go to another tweet to kind of stick with the theme of actually let me take this off first before I switch this. To stick with the theme that we're talking about, so we got the amount breakdown. Let me see. I can't forget what the other tweet said. So let me look at it before I actually say. Oh, I'm already here. So let's look at Ryan Knight's tweet now. So he quote tweeted that same tweet I already read. So let's share this now. Take this down so you can see this article better. Maybe it'll help if I turn the air conditioning off. Shoot, the remote is over there. Let's get to this article. I'm sorry, get to this tweet. So Ryan Knight, friend of the network, the people donated $270 million, yet these so-called progressives won't even fight back against the corruption, against the corrupt establishment, or forced to vote on the policies they campaign on. Your money is better spent on mutual aid. You cannot change the Democratic Party. Say that again. You cannot change the Democratic Party. Voting in progressives doesn't change the Democratic Party, as we see. But if we just get this, why are we still not believing what it is? When somebody shows you who they are, believe them. You don't keep going back. Believe them. So then let's actually, I do want to get to some of your comments on the same article, but I do want to switch to a different share here and switch to the article and go a little bit deeper into this article here. Substack, subscribe. Dontel's, that's his given name. I'm sorry, that's his birth name is Dontel, but on Twitter it was unapologetic. So okay, so that we already saw the sub headline there. Let's get into the article. So crowdfunding is second only to the internet in terms of game-changing modern innovations that empower the working class movement. It's been used to fund mutual aid for housing, to medical emergencies, and everything in between. Crowdsourcing is also how we manage to challenge the establishment narrative with independent media sources that are able to bypass the typical filters of corporate news media. But what if we could use crowdfunding to break the backs of the oligarch? Great question. Let me blow this up a little bit here. This article here. Now let's get back here. So that last question in the first paragraph here. But what if we could use crowdfunding to break the backs of the oligarch? Stop donating to the Democrat. I mean, I'm not going to include the Republican Party. Like if you're here, you're probably not donating to you're very likely not donating to the Democratic Republican Party. Stop donating to progressive Democrats. Stop donating to Democrats. Let me put this on big, bold letters. Don't stop donating to Dems. Let's put that up there. I don't need to include Republicans because if you're here, you're not donating to Republicans already. Okay, so stop donating to Democrats, including progressive Democrats. Or I should say, especially a progressive Democrats. You know what that does? You know what you're invested in when you donate to them? You're invested in them doing something, even though they're not. So every little small little thing they get done, you want to cheer for them because you're invested. Imagine if you're invested in a community. Imagine if that money is going to your community to make it better. How would that same energy be towards your community? Invest in your community. Be offended when people are doing bad things in your community instead of being offended when people talk about your favorite politician that you donated to. They don't need our money. They've already have our taxpaying money, and look what they're doing to it with it. What was the military budget? Something like $770 million. If somebody, if that's incorrect, please correct me in the comments. Like, stop donating to these bastards. Afeni, great mutual aid. Tour for the Poor. I'll bring that up actually now. Let's bring up Tour for the Poor. So Tour for the Poor, donate to. And I'll also bring up my mutual aid, which, like I said, if you're just joining the stream, I switched it to now we're going to be focusing on the people, the unhoused people of Skid Row. And I'll update you on that in just a little bit. But let's go to Rome's page here. So let's take this down and let's go to his mutual aid. I just want to show you what his latest one. What is he going to Florida next? So let's find one of his graphics for Florida here. Here we go. Here we go. Florida, you're up next. Our goal today, this is, I don't think this is from 2 days ago. So I won't read the go part. But his Cash App is there. Rome on PayPal is Unholy Rome 6. Venmo Rome -Unholy. Cash App $ Rome and his last name. All right, so he'll be in Orlando March 25th. Tour for the Poor. Make sure this is the things you should donate to. How many people would Rome be able to help if he had what is that 1% of that money? 1%. So what is that? 2,700. How many people could he even help with that amount? And then you make that 270 million. Stop donating to Democrats. Stop donating to progressive Democrats in particular. Now let's go to my mutual aid really quick. I did update. I finally got my graphic up, banner up. So this is my first time showing everybody here. Am I on the right page? What did I click? Oh, my bad, everybody. So mutual aid forever. I thought I clicked. Okay, I thought I clicked it. Is this it? Oh, maybe I'll go all the way up. My bad. All right, so here we go. I was a little confused. So here we go. I love the name Mutual Aid Forever. It's the same. The email is the same. I'll show you in just a second. Let me make this a little bit bigger so you can see it's better. Explain what I'm focusing on now. My mutual aid. So this is now my mutual aid here. Got the Cash App, got the Venmo, and I'll show you how to send money PayPal if you have it. But Mutual Aid Forever, that's the logo there. Building community through the power of solidarity. And then that's the actual user the word forever was too long, so I just switched it with the number 4. So mutual aid, the number 4, and ever. Follow, promote. Here is the tagline, or here is my sort of the slogan: building community through the power of solidarity, helping unhoused people on Skid Row. And this is how you can send donations. Venmo, Cash App is the same. Mutual aid forever. Cash App is the $. Mutual aid is just the @ symbol. And then email mutualaidforever@gmail. You can click in that email to send anything by PayPal. I will also have a place you're going to be able to send donations, like if you have clothes, if you have blankets, because that's big. That's big on Skid Row is blankets. When we were down there, we had clothes, and they loved the clothes. They all went. Don't get me wrong, they went like hotcakes. But blankets was the number one ask. And I mean, you can imagine they're outside. It doesn't matter how hot it is. Like the human body, 50, 60 degrees overnight, that's cold to the human body. So blankets. So here is the pinned tweet: we're mutual aid forever. Our focus is the people living on Skid Row. And I just wanted to emphasize our focus is that. It doesn't mean that's the only thing we're going to do. And this is how and where you can donate. So please follow us. If you can't donate, at least retweet what we tweet out. And this is one way. I show Rome's Tour for the Poor. This is my Skid Row mutual aid forever. And when Rome was out here, we were talking about how do we build this revolution, and how difficult it is right now to just talk to people and convince people because they're so propagandized. And he's like, well, these people down here aren't. There's no TVs down here. There's no CNN playing down down here on Skid Row. So what if we build a revolution on the most marginalized people, like the people on Skid Row, like ex-cons? Those people, I believe we can reach the quickest because they're already there. They're living the experience that we talk about. They are actually living that experience. So that's why I was like, I need to build this around this community, because this community may be part of will want to be part of this revolution. All the marginalized, the disabled, they're going to be part of the revolution. That's who we want. So yeah, I'm going off on a tangent, but let's get back to the main story, and that is donating to progressives, or where have our $270 million gone? So the next part in this same sort of story is I want to cover let me see, make sure I got Pramila Jayapal. One of the squad members, I'll say that until I get the article up here. One of the squad members is going to do the progressive response to the State of the Union by Joe Biden. And you know how, reporters put out these articles, you already know what's in the speech. So let me see if this is it here. Then I'll share my screen. Let's go. Okay, yes. This tweet here by fellow RBN member Nick. So let's cover his tweet here. So the squad is doing a State of the Union response video after Biden. And their goal is, wait for it, to hold water and apologize for Joe Biden, casting all his evils and sins on the rotating villain. And then what he did was he took excerpts from the article. And that happens sometimes. Don't know why. But anyway, here he goes now, I believe. So, okay. Hopefully this is big enough for me to see. Oh, here he goes. Squad member to deliver response to Biden State of the Union. Michigan Rep. Rashida Tlaib, I'm glad I didn't say the other name. Rashida Tlaib will give the speech on behalf of the left-wing group Working Families Party. So let's go to the next graphic here. A member of the liberal squad is delivering a formal response to President Joe Biden's State of the Union address Tuesday. In the speech given on behalf of the left-wing group Working Families, Rep. Rashida Tlaib is expected to hammer moderate Democrats who have stymied Biden's social spending and climate change package. Not that Biden is terrible. Not that Biden tried to get through a whole bunch of drilling permits. Not that Biden is funding the military more. Not that Biden wants to fund the police state more. Not that Biden's not doing anything on climate. But everything is Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema's fault. Those two. As if the Build Back Better plan was a great plan anyway. As if the infrastructure bill, I forget the name, if they had a particular name, the one that passed got dwindled down. Infrastructure, we could use 12 trillion at least, I think, in infrastructure, the last figure I saw. If that is a wrong figure, somebody please correct me in the chat. But I mean, terrible. So let's bring that down. I'm gonna go back to the other article here, the one with unapologetic, and get to another point in the article. Okay, you see that? Okay, let's see. Let's make sure here. Okay. So let me repeat that last question. But what if we could use crowdfunding to break the backs of the oligarch class? This isn't a novel concept. For years, the working class movement has tried to use grassroots donations to circumvent corporate capture of our political system by funding politicians who reject big money and promise to fight to implement our policies. That strategy has failed to produce any material results. In fact, these politicians won't even fight a little to advance the politics they claim to support. It's time to move to a more direct approach by exclusively funding direct action and public pressure campaigns. Absolutely. Loving this article so far. Loving this article. Shout out to Donnell for doing the article. All right, so Bernie Sanders' campaign broke the mold and showed it was possible to run a formidable campaign while rejecting corporate money. This led to a new era of grassroots supported candidates becoming fundraising powerhouses exclusively from the money of regular working class people. AOC comes to mind. According to data publicly available on Open Secrets, since 2018, 7 Justice Democrats received $62 million in donations from leftists across the country, while Bernie Sanders' 2020 presidential campaign alone received $211 million in donations for a combined total of $272 million. And then he breaks down the amounts which we went over in that tweet. Just what are we getting for that money? Or a better question is, what could we have gotten for that money? 272 million. We are able to produce $270 million, $272 million. According to this article, we're able to produce that. Yet we're struggling. Yet some of us are being evicted. We're donating $272 million while we have people that won't fight for us to get paid more hourly. The same people we're donating to won't put their careers on the line. So let's read a little bit more of this article here. Let me see what the next headline is and see if I make sure I don't want to. Yeah, I do want to skip. Now I saw the next headline. Let's read the forced to vote part first. According to Justice Democrats co-founder Kyle Kulinski and Cenk Uygur, the group was created to do a hostile takeover of the Democratic Party. This ain't looking hostile. Is it hostile? Do you call your adversary, the person that you're hostile to, do you call them Mama Bear? Are you afraid in a New Yorker article? Are you afraid to criticize your leader, Nancy Pelosi, the most corrupt, the matriarch of corruption of Washington, D.C.? You're afraid to answer a pointed question about her, whether she should remain in leadership. $272 million for that. Yeah. Yeah, it's a hostile takeover. If hostile means not hostile, if that's what that means, then yes, it was quite hostile. Let's see here. CJ, 270 million could produce pressure and shaming marketing campaigns to drive and bring about policies. Medicare for all, living wage, $30. Absolutely. I'm trying to cut down on the profanity. Absolutely. Just imagine a commercial comes on. Hey, your local rep does not support Medicare for all. Do you have diabetes? Do you have this? Do your kids have this? Are you able to afford? Is your copay $50? Call your rep and tell him to demand Medicare for all during this pandemic. That money could have done that. Stop donating to progressive Democrats. I think they meant hostile. Pretty funny. We got a comedian in creative experience. That's pretty funny right there. How long until this? Okay, let me put that on the screen. How long until the squad is offering up NFTs instead of campaign contributions? Lots of funny comments today. 211 million and Bernie couldn't drop at one hit track. That's exactly why I want to be the first campaign music supervisor. Wow. Let's see. Would have funded a general strike for a couple of weeks. Okay. I'll leave it there. Let's see here. Let's go see any new comments, and I'm going to get back into this article and finish this up here. All right, so let's get back to this article. All right, so where I leave off. Hostile takeover of the Democratic Party. That's what all the Justice Democrats ran on. Yet, when they were presented with an opportunity to remove Nancy Pelosi, the corrupt neoliberal speaker who presided over the worst handling of an emergency in U.S. history, from her leadership position and refused to seat any alternative unless their policy demands like a floor vote on Medicare was met, the Justice Democrats folded. That's what your $272 million got. That. I can't think of a better way to enact a hostile takeover of the party than to exercise veto power in a race for who gets to run the House of Representatives. More importantly, that was the best chance at a floor vote on single payer in my life, and it would have come at a time when the country needs universal health care more than ever. Imagine what we could have done, how we could have ridiculed, called out, whatever word you want to use, the people who voted no to Medicare for all during a pandemic. Exactly. Refund. I wonder, can you get a refund? Can you say, hey, you told me you were going to do this. You're not doing it. Give me my money back. Is that possible? I still don't know what the term based mean. Nick tried to explain it to me. Sometimes sometimes I read in the context, it seemed like it's bad, and sometimes it's good. Does anybody have a good definition of what base mean? If it's a good thing, thank you. If it's not a good thing, I'm sorry. Let's see. A 2-week general strike would be very effective because it would show what can be done. Right. So the reason I didn't really address the comment about, it would only fund it 2 weeks, as if that's nothing. One, I challenge that 2-week mark, because what you're including that needs to be funded, I'm likely would say that a lot of the things I wouldn't even include to be that we need to be funded. We can't look at a general strike the same way that a general strike was done before. We look for tips. We don't look to emulate past general strikes that didn't have the internet. That's not what we do. Past general strikes that didn't have union leadership entirely captured by the ruling class. There was some, but not entirely. So a general strike in 2022 and beyond is going to look completely different. Oh, if that's it, then that's total. I'm totally based. Absolutely. Saying what you mean without fear of yes. Yes. I think that's one thing you're always going to be able to say about CJ, Compton J, whatever you want to call me. That guy says what the fuck he wants. He don't give a fuck what anybody says, and that's absolutely true. Absolutely true. If you're with me, you got my ear. If you ain't with me, your opinion is wholeheartedly, it's not needed, not welcome, don't care to have it, it's no relevance to my existence. I hope that I made that clear. But anyway, thank you for that, if that's what you meant by that. Let's see. Base means down to earth rather than ivory towers. If it means down to earth also, I'll take that. Thank you. CJ, you are based in truth. I understand that sentence. I understand how based is used there. So thank you. I try to be, or at least I try to give you my honest opinion, and I want to give you my gut opinion, and my gut opinion could change. But I like to give that. I don't know. I feel like people are suppressed, and I think people self-suppress more than people suppress. Outside people suppress themselves. People self-suppress, and I stopped self-suppressing myself a little more, almost 2 years ago. So no more self-suppressing what I believe and think. All right, so I'm getting off on a tangent into myself. Let's go back to the article here, and I'm going to scroll down. He gives, these are just examples. Let's go to the verdicts in. The verdicts is in. The number of grievances between the left and elected progressives is astonishing and irreconcilable. This is where the left, the old left and the new left diverge, where it's irreconcilable. is irreconcilable for me, but it's not irreconcilable for some on the left. And typically, the ones I see as reconcilable for are the more wealthier ones, and the ones who are saying this is irreconcilable are the ones who are more marginalized. Typically, I am no longer interested in engaging in debates about their intent. Right. Intent is irrelevant if it doesn't follow actions. I forget the exact phrase how I used to say that. Literally. If I have a bet and I hit you with a bet, but I didn't intend to, what is the value of intent? None. I am no longer interested in engaging in debates about their intent. This is how they get elected, on their intent. Stop electing people on their intent. Actions. Like JB said once in a video, the victory is in the fight. Forced to vote could have failed. The victory is in the fight. Us seeing you fighting as hard as you can. That's where your victory lies as progressive Democrats. But we're beyond that point at this point. I will not entertain any more fantasies that maybe one day they will see the light and finally do what they ran on. No more. This also speaks to the Marianne Williamson event where she was promoting progressive Democrats. No more. The comments weren't good. Go to her page. Go to Katie Halper's. Go to that stream. The comments aren't good. People are fed up. There's no more of this. Give us one more chance. This is a fantasy. I've seen the choices they've made in career-defining moments. Not some of the time, or half of the time, or most of the time. Every time they faced with the decision to go to the mat to advance our agenda or fold for the establishment, they fold. Let me read that again. Not sometimes, or half the time, or most of the time. Every time they're faced with the decision to go to the mat to advance our agenda or fold for the establishment, they fold. Stop donating to progressive Democrats, to corporate. I know you're not, by now you shouldn't be donating to corporate Democrats, but stop donating. Yes. Hopeism. I forget how Nick says it, but he calls it, it's toxic positivity, toxic optimism. Yes, she is. She's absolutely a neo-lib. Absolutely. Just terrible. So let's see. Exposing who? Just looking for a couple of more comments here. I'm going to be signing off soon because I will be back for my other show, Straight Out of Politics, with a couple of other people. And we're going to piggyback this topic and along with a couple of other topics. But we're going to discuss how progressive Democrats are not going to save us. We can elect 50 progressive Democrats in November. 50. By any indication of the progressive we have in there now, all 50 are not going to do a damn thing. So when we have 50 in there, what are they going to say? Hey, we need 150. Hey, we need 100. Then we get 100. Hey, we need, like, how many do you need? Stop donating to progressive Democrats. And what's sad is a lot of the people, I'm going to take this down now and put up something up here. What's sad is I do feel sorry for the progressives that are running now. I do. I feel sorry for them because, let me find the tweet actually. Funneling. And let's go with I can't do two things at once. All right, so here we go. My apologies. So it didn't come up. Hang on here. The video did, but not the graphic. So maybe I'll play the video. All right. So bear with me to find the video, but I can talk about it as I'm looking for it. I feel sorry for some of the candidates that are running because, like, they're good intention. They're good intended, but remember about the intentions, the value of intentions. But they really are trying to do something good. Unfortunately, they're running in the era of the squad and progressives who are doing absolutely nothing. So, maybe 5 years ago, these progressives, right at the Justice Democrats time, these progressives could have got elected, could have gotten these donations, and would have been able to prove that they're different than the squad progressives, right? To prove that, since they're saying they're different. I found that graphic now, so let's put it back up here. This here. Feel sorry for some of the people that was, running, that participated in this. Let's put this here. Let's put this here. Let's put this here. Here we go. Is there a way I can switch this? No. Okay. All right. So we'll just keep it like that. Yeah. I just don't understand. Or I'm sorry, I was saying that I feel sorry for the ones running now because they have such a bad example in the squad. It is such a terrible example that the squad is giving, that if you were able to point, like, if people running now would have been able to say, hey, the squad is in there now, they almost got Medicare for all. You see what they did? So if you can get me and a couple of more progressives in, we can put it over the top. But there's nobody fighting. I literally believe a lot of progressives could get elected if the squad and other progressives were doing anything, showing any level of fight. But because they're not, people are just going to go, there's people in there now and they're not doing anything. So anyway, yeah, we're going to be coming to an end. I do want to take a short break before our next stream. I'm probably gonna, I'm not gonna announce it. Well, I shouldn't announce the time. It's gonna be an earlier time. So if I could keep this show 12, I'm sorry, that's 12 for my time. Let me say, for most of you who are on the East Coast, from 3 to like 4, maybe 4:30, then I can do my second show 2:30, or 2 o'clock, maybe even. So yeah, let's maybe shoot for 2 o'clock and then have that show. So I'll reach out to my co-hosts, make sure they can attend. And hopefully, I said 2:30. That's my time, so it's 5:30 your time, East Coast 5:30. So let me see if that is doable, and then this conversation, along with some other topics, will be piggybacked on for the next show. So if you're watching right now, please come back in about an hour or so. Hopefully that I'm able to start it by then. For Straight Out of Politics, where we're going to talk about this and other hot topics. There's a lot of stuff to talk about, but I did want to focus this stream on this particular topic because that's our power. We have $272 million of power. Just 272 million dollars of power we have that we're just giving away to these people who aren't doing anything for us but lip service. Let's stop doing that. So join me later today for that show. I'm going to be signing off here now. I think it's just my show today. Yeah, today's Wednesday. And then tomorrow I'll be back here for You Left Shit Out at 3 p.m. Eastern. And then also tomorrow is the roundtable. And then Friday is the Sabby Sab show. Saturday is the Nick show. And Sunday is JB. But actually, Sabby is having, actually, let me pull up her thing here before I sign off. Sabby has her women's summit. And I want to bring up her graphic and share it with you. Make sure you tune in. So the schedule I gave you, I don't think overlaps because I think let me just look at it first. Let me look at it. So let me put it on the screen now. Savvy is doing this event here. And can I make this bigger? I think so. Now it's more than this time frame. This is just when Kashama is going to be on, but the Women's Summit 2022, it's going to be. Shoot, let me go to her page and get the other flyer for the entire event instead of one guest. So let's do that here. Oh, so Tara Reid. That's her appearance. Miss Benjamin. I'm looking for the more generic one. Sabrina. It's another one. Kristen Olivo. Goldfield. And I think I'm getting close to the original one because I believe those are some of the first ones she posted. So here we go. All right. Here we go. Okay. Oops. How do I make this? There we go. Make that bigger instead of small. So this here, first annual Women's Summit is this weekend. Dates February 26th and 27th. So it's Saturday and Sunday. So her Friday show should still be going on here on this network. It's 7 p.m. Eastern till 10 p.m. Eastern. So 3 hours on Saturday, 3 hours on Sunday. That's the graphic. Check that out this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. It is my wife's birthday weekend, so I will be out of town, so I will check it back on the replay. But yeah, something my wife's been planning for a while, so we're gonna be doing this for her birthday. But yeah, that is it. I'm gonna be signing off here. Thank you for those who watched on Rockfin. Thank you for those who are watching on Twitter. Thank you for those watching on YouTube, of course. Thank you for all the comments. And if you're able to donate, oh, Sabby's here. Let me put her. I'm sorry, I got to look at the comments. It's Saturday and Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Okay. Oh, I think she's answering a particular question. Where is she? And I'm promoting it on Jimmy tonight. So she'll be on the Jimmy Dore show tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. Sabby will be on. Jimmy is bringing her on to promote the Women's Summit. So let's see if there's any other comments Sabby has here. Good. I looked back at the show. Yeah, 2 shows today. Usually Wednesdays. I went down to 1 show, but yeah, Wednesday. I used to do 3 shows on Wednesday. But yeah. All right. I think that's all the comments I got now. All right, so now I'm going to be signing off. Thank you for everybody watching. Thank you for all the comments. Make sure you support Mutual Aid, Tour for the Poor, Mutual for Aid, My Mutual Aid Forever for Skid Row is scrolling right there at the bottom. Thank you for watching this episode. Check us out in just a little bit for Straight Out of Politics with me and a couple of other guests.